Misfits boxing is dead. Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to Edson. I hope you're all well. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notifications bell for all future videos. So, Misfits boxing, they just had an event in the United States, in Nashville, I think it was. Yes, Misfits 13. What a debacle it was. Now, if you watch my videos on Misfits and influencer boxing from a while ago, I've been saying this for a long time, that the whole point of the influencer boxing is one of the big things is that you need to have big names. You need to have influencers in there. Well, when you stop having influencers in there, in other words, if you put in people from YouTube or from TikTok or from, Instagram, whatever, who've got a very small following, then it breaks down immediately because nobody really cares about them. They're not invested in them as a kind of celebrity or a personality, as it were. You're trying to thrust these people with little experience, little social media presence into the limelight. Now, on top of that, many of these, have no idea about fighting or boxing or any kind of boxing skill, and they're not even probably taking it seriously. Then you've got a problem. So this is what I've been saying for a long time. And it culminated in this event where you had ill-prepared participants, that's what I like to call it, ill-prepared participants that many people don't know or they're not really relevant anymore. You had a couple of highlight bouts, which really, on the face of it, should have been right at the top of the card. You had a security threat on the venue, so that disrupted the whole thing. And they had a main event, which was just ridiculous, and one didn't even show up for the fight. I mean, it's just absolute nonsense. I've been saying this for a long time, that Misfits need to kind of readdress where they're at with this boxing event, because you can't compare it to professional boxing or even amateur boxing, okay? You've got to look at it for what it is. And I've always said this is influencers, social media people just wanting to get into the ring. That's fine. And you could see some of them have really developed and they've come a long way, and because they've taken it seriously and they've applied themselves. The problem with that is that even if they're influencers, then they stop becoming influencers as they once were, and then they start doing a lot of boxing content, which is not really what this is about. So it's a double-edged sword, really. You want influencers to get in there, but as soon as they start getting in there, start taking it seriously, all of a sudden it loses its appeal, or they lose their appeal as influencers. So you get some that improve, but you get others who are not taking it seriously at all, who are not even preparing, and they just look awful. Now, as for the audience, or as a spectacle, it's just poor, really poor. You get the big names from influencer boxing, Misfits boxing, who are not fighting anymore. KSI, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, in the influencer field. They're either not fighting, they've gone off to wrestling, or they're doing pro boxing. So they're not doing the Misfits influencer boxing scene right now. So that means there's a big void. There's a big void in the scene. They're desperate for a big name to come in. And they're also desperate for one big name against another big name who actually don't like each other. That's what this was about in the first place. It was trying to match up influencers who don't really like each other, who slate each other off, and then also put them in a ring, give them a bit of boxing training, and let's see how they get on. That seems to have disappeared. Now they're just sort of matching people up who are kind of indifferent towards each other. The other big aspect here is that many of the participants, they value the platform which they're on, Misfits. They're getting recognition, they're developing their skills, they're increasing their online profile. But many now seem to be using the platform just in their own interests. They're more interested in their own influence and using Misfits just to promote them. They don't really care about the boxing. They don't really care about Misfits per se. They just want their own influence. So we're kind of seeing it like the biggest stars, probably one of their best boxers that they've got on there, Dean the Great. He's going off and trying to do other things. Live boxing events with Aiden Ross. They're kind of falling out with Misfits as well. So maybe he may not even fight. So they're having this whole lightweight tournament just to eliminate all the lightweights until you can match up Dean the Great against the winner of this tournament. But now he seems to have walked off. So all of a sudden you've got a program of fights that kind of don't mean anything. So you haven't got any big names that are fighting right now. So you've got some of your best boxers that are either walking away or refusing to fight, or Misfits themselves can't find a fight for them. It's a bit of a sham. So much so that one of the fighters on the Misfits card in the post-fight interview in the ring was basically calling out Misfits and saying, this is a sham. This is just a joke behind the scenes. What is going on? What is going on? Does anybody really care anymore? The problem is when you don't have one of these pay-per-view events from Misfits per se, all of a sudden people are wondering, well, who the hell are these people? Why should we even watch it? Why should we even attend it? They are desperate. They are desperate for a big headline night. And really, they've got to get KSI back in the ring. They're not going to get Jake Paul in the ring, but let's get KSI back in the ring. They need to have a matchup with somebody big now. They need to match it up really big. They need to have another big card just to draw the attention back into what it was supposed to be. And have people in there who really want to be part of the scene. Now, you had a couple of fights on there who I thought were great. Well, one was great. The other one was just hopeless, really. And that's Joey Knight. Joey Knight, who's always working now with True Geordie. Yeah, he's got some boxing talent. I said in a previous video that he's actually really good for the scene. So hopefully they can put him in more and more fights. But they need to bump him up the card now. Then the other best fight of the night was between the two girls. Between Alexia and Haru. I mean, they were going for it. These two girls were going for it, which made it a spectacle, which made it somewhat entertaining to watch. I'm ignoring them as boxers or as fighters. I'm just saying as a spectacle. This is what Misfits was supposed to be about. And it's failing. And it's been failing on many events that have been put on for a long, long time. Misfits themselves have got competition now from the likes of Aiden Ross, who are putting on live streaming events. Now, whether that's a good thing or not, whether they have to be really concerned, whether there's something dodgy going on over there, who knows. But there are other events coming on that are trying to gather some kind of momentum. The hype card, which was a total disaster as well, which was last week. Again, it doesn't necessarily follow that just because one hype card, let's say, or one live stream event was terrible, it doesn't mean that they can't be a threat to Misfits in the future. It could be that the dynamic is changing. The way you swat off those other contenders, those other events, let's say, is to put on really big events yourself with fighters and with personalities and influencers that people actually care about. People want to see in the ring. You want to see with genuine animosity towards each other. If you don't have that, you don't have an event. You don't have influencer boxing. You can't get pro boxers into it because there aren't enough pro boxers who want to get involved in this. They probably at one stage wanted to get involved with it for the money, but now you're seeing with 2 or 3 events that are just really, really poor. And then with the main event, you put in a ridiculous concept of a 2v1, and one of those two don't even get into the ring because they got stage fright. The other one is completely hopeless. It's over within 45 seconds. And the one who turned up for the fight is kind of wondering what the hell is going on because there's no event. And afterwards, he's even slating off the Misfits. He's slating off his opponents for not getting into the ring as well. It was a shambolic event from start to finish. There's a couple of highlights which really should be way up the card than they actually were. Purely just based on one, talent, but also the other one just pure effort. I've said this time and time again about Misfits boxing. You've got to sort out what you are, what your identity is. Know who you are, to coin a phrase recently. Know who you are, know where you're at. Because right now, Misfits boxing as a concept is failing. It's failing on identity, and it's failing to deliver what fans really want. You want to have big names, big influencers, big celebrities, let's say, getting into the ring. And yes, you give them some training, and yes, they should be taking it seriously. Now, at one stage, there was many who wanted to get into it. Now, for one reason or another, maybe they all perceive that Misfits itself is a bit of a joke. Maybe something going on behind the scenes that we don't really know. But it's calling out for big names. It's calling for KSI to jump back into the ring, to rescue his own event, his own promotion, let's say. You can't leave it to small influencers or small or insignificant people on YouTube to rescue an event. It just doesn't work. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. This is not a boxing conversation. This is not how good or how bad they are at boxing. This is about the event, the concept of Misfits boxing, of influencer boxing. Because for me, if they don't do something drastic right now, and I've been saying this for a long time, they should have done it a long time ago. If they don't do something drastic, it's dead. It's completely dead. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notifications bell for all future videos. And I will catch you again on another video coming very soon. Bye now.